Hey guys, it's JD again. Thanks for watching my intro video. We're here to talk about I believe this is chapter 5, and chapter 5 revolves around listening and the interpretations of like how we listen and what we do when we listen and what's happening when we're listening. And so it's kind of like a weird, it's a weird thing, listening. It's more of like a process. So the listening process involves a couple things. One way that I can relate to this chapter is that with listening in my job, I work at the Apple store. So I work as a technician, and as a technician, it's my responsibility to go up to people and, repair the relationship that they have with their broken device with Apple. So that said, someone comes in with a broken screen, I have to let them know, hey, this is what's wrong with the device, this is how much it's going to cost, and whatnot, yada yada. So that said, with listening, the big part of my job is like 80-90% listening. Someone will come in and let me know what happens. Not all the times is it like a broken screen. Sometimes it's my phone's slow or my phone's doing this. And if I don't listen correctly, or if in like the busy Apple store that I'm in, all the people that are going around and all the noise that's happening and the babies that are crying and the alarm that goes off, that could affect the conversation. And so with listening, it really is more of a process, in a sense that if I'm listening to you explain the issue or explain the issue with your device, I have to really pay attention and invest myself and really look in. And the chapter also talks about like empathetic listening, which is a big thing that I do in my job. So a lot of the times I try to put myself in the situation of the customer to see what I need to do to repair that relationship with them. And it's really important to remember that that I can relate to. So sometimes when someone explains their issue, I'll usually paraphrase what they said. So like, hey, my battery is really short and I don't know why. I do this and I plug it in and I use all these different chargers. And I'll say, okay, so you've used all the chargers and then your battery is really bad. So what's the next step you think we should do? And then conversing with the customer or whatever. And then that said, responding is a way of telling the person that's communicating with you that you're listening. And listening, usually when the person that's giving you the response you're getting sees that you're listening and can see that you're actively paying attention, it increases that communication or whatever. Now, another thing that's crazy is that like feedback, the feedback section of the listening chapter. That's something that I do like pretty much daily on my job as well. So when someone in the store either like does something incorrectly, we at Apple like to give people feedback right away. So with feedback, it's important to be constructive, to be professional, and it's also good to be concise and to the point. No one likes to get told that they're doing something wrong in a way that they can interpret very easily. So usually when I give feedback to a coworker, it'll look like something like, hey, so-and-so, I totally know that I was looking at the notes that we put on the repair and I see that this wasn't mentioned about data loss. Just going forward, so we know this is something that we put on all of our repairs. That way, in case the customer comes back and has to talk about data loss or doesn't have a cloud backup, we're not responsible for it legally, or we don't claim liability. So there you go. And if you need help, I can show you a shortcut to how you can put that on and whatnot. And so it's important when you give that feedback that you're constructive and that you're also friendly and that you have like a purpose. And I think that's the biggest thing, is feedback is only feedback if you have like a purpose for it. If you're just telling somebody, hey, nice shoes, or hey, I really liked how you did like a move, or I really appreciate that you restocked the thing, it doesn't really matter. But if you give someone constructive feedback and if really take the time to formulate that feedback, I think that really shows 100%. So yeah, the key takeaways with the listening chapter: listening is a process. Remember that it's not just you listening per se. It's more so you really, depending on the type of depending on what's going on, it changes the type of listening you do. Anyways, guys, that's the chapter we have on listening. So I think the next one's chapter 12, and that's more about, I don't know, what is public speaking. So we'll see you there. See ya. This is weird. I don't know if this is the right way to do this, but yeah, it's a green screen.